Pike County leaders say more needs to be done to prepare for disasters, and a former fire chief is sentenced for stealing from his department. I'm Nick Collum, and this is the Mountaintop Daily. In the wake of a natural disaster, leaders and first responders often look for ways their emergency response could be improved. For Pike County, such a review has leaders looking at the need for a local swift water rescue team. Sheldon was in a meeting of the fiscal court for that discussion.
At nearly the 2-month mark since the February flood, Pike officials are still stressing emergency readiness. Pike County Judge Executive Ray Jones focused on improving all aspects of swift water rescue, saying we couldn't continue to rely on neighbors to always be ready to come to our aid.
We need to make sure that we've got the swift water and urban search and rescue trained teams and equipment to do what needs to be done. We can't depend on teams coming in from outside the state or from Western Kentucky or Central Kentucky because, if we have an event, they may not be able to get, or that event may be impacting their communities and they may not be able to come to the bill.
And a familiar refrain from Jones was that more flooding wasn't a matter of if, but a certainty of when.
I remember since I've been in office, we've had water rescue to Phelps. We had a fatality over there back, I guess, early 2000s. I remember watching water rescues up on a Kendrick's Dig Sport or Meat House over Big Creek in a flash flood event over there. But we've had so many flood events. They're gonna keep happening, and I'm just afraid it's a matter of time till we get hit with one that's substantially worse than what we just went through.
3rd District Pike Commissioner Freddie Lewis said if this wasn't done, it would be a situation of preparing for failure.
If we fail to prepare, we can go ahead and prepare fair. And, I'm in full agreement that we need to make sure that our fire departments and those guys have any type of equipment they need because for the 600 lives that were saved by boat rescue only, during it, so it would be cool if we did not equip our people and our first responders with the tools they need.
I just want to make sure that this court does everything it can to make sure that our first responders have the equipment, the resources they need.
Reporting for Mountaintop News, I'm Sheldon Compton.
The former chief of a Pike County Fire Department has been sentenced after pleading guilty to stealing grant money from his department. 36-year-old Christopher Aaron Chapman of Ransom pleaded guilty in August to theft of public funds, admitting to stealing nearly $77,000 intended to purchase safety gear for the Blackberry Volunteer Fire Department. In his plea agreement, he admitted to convincing members of his department to buy safety equipment from a company he owned without telling them of his connection to the company. He then used all of the money for personal expenses without fulfilling the orders. Sentencing guidelines called for Chapman to spend between 6 and 12 months in prison. While Chapman's attorney asked the judge to consider home incarceration, prosecutors asked that he be given a sentence on the top end of the guidelines because of the seriousness of the offense. In the end, the judge sided with the prosecution, sentencing Chapman to 12 months in prison, which he will begin serving on June 10th. He has also been ordered to repay all of the stolen money. Coming up after the break, a children's author visited a local elementary school today to raise awareness about autism. We'll take you there when the Mountaintop Daily continues.
Are you wanting to switch to Appalachian Wireless but afraid of losing your number? Don't worry, you can keep your number and sign up for the region's best network that goes wherever you go. That's right, sign up today and get instant savings when you bring your number to Appalachian Wireless. Whether you need 1 line or 5, you'll save big. Did I mention free activation and your first month is free? So what are you waiting for? Switch today and experience better coverage, service, and savings because we are you. We are Appalachian Wireless.
Stumbo Elementary in Floyd County hosted a children's author as part of the school's activities to raise awareness about autism. I went to the school this morning and spoke with her. On Wednesday, April 9th, John M. Stumbo Elementary hosted an autism awareness event featuring children's book author Susan Mills. Students got to meet the author and learn more about her and her messages of inclusivity and diversity. She has been traveling across the state teaching early life lessons over the last several years.
Touched on us every day. And so to reach them at a really early age and to start having those what I call healthy conversations is so important. To introduce them at school is one of like the coolest things at all, because then they can go home and they can start having the conversations with their parents and with their siblings and aunts and uncles and grandparents. So it's a conversation that can keep going. The books are really for ages like 3 through 8, but there are lessons and messages for absolutely everyone. And at the end of every book, there's some questions. So if you don't know exactly how to start a conversation about autism or about anxiety, some of those questions can be really tough. So there's all of these questions that you can direct to kind of keep the conversation going.
Since launching the Dino Sprouts book series, Mills has been advocating for autism awareness through education. She has met with countless parents of children with diagnosed autism to offer advice and resources.
I think when any parent or caregiver receives the news that their child has any kind of special need, whether it's autism or anything else, I think you're kind of thrown into the fire and you're sent home with this paperwork, this diagnosis that you're really not sure where to start. And the most important thing I think to remember is that the whole thing is not a sprint, it's a marathon, and you learn something about yourself and your child every single day. And you need to reach out and find community or a tribe. So I have a nonprofit called My Autism Tribe that I started years ago, and a podcast, and I talk with parents all the time. Parents that are just receiving a diagnosis, parents that have been on the journey for a while. And the really cool thing is that no matter where your child is, no matter what age your child is or what stage in life it is, it's important to find people who have been there, who have done that, and then also to give that back. It's so important to find your people.
That will do it for this edition of the Mountaintop Daily. Be sure to check us out at 6 p.m. every weekday on Mountaintop TV, the Mountaintop TV app, and the Mountaintop News Facebook page. With your Mountaintop Daily, I'm Nick Collum for Mountaintop News.